Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today, I am taking you to my kitchen to share this very simple but yet absolutely delicious egg sauce with fish. This comes out great every single time. And one thing I like about this stew is that the ingredients are very simple and easy to find. We'll begin with some tomatoes. These are nicely washed, and I'll be adding some habanero pepper and onion, and then I'll be blending them all together. You can also use any kind of pepper you want. You can use less or more. These are the quantity of onions I'll be blending. So give it a good blend and then pour it into a bowl. You can also blend it rough or smooth. Just depends on how you want your stew to be at the end of the day. After that, you want to set this aside. For proteins, I'll be making good use of this smoked salmon. I'm going to remove the skin and then debone it nicely, and I'll use it later. You can also use any protein of choice, but the salmon adds a nice flavor to the stew. That's why I always love to use salmon for my fish stew. So heat up some oil in your pan and then chop some onions. And the onions should be a lot so that it makes the stew extra nice. Okay. So we are going to stir fry this until it is nice and translucent, or until it's beginning to brown. Somewhere along the line, I'll be adding powdered pepper because the one who is eating this likes a lot of pepper. You can omit the pepper, you can add ginger and garlic if you want as well. So you want to let it be on the fire for some time until it's beginning to brown. Now, you don't want this to get burnt. You just want it to start browning a little, just like I am showing you right now. I'm going to let this be for a minute, and then after that, I'll pour in the blended tomatoes, onion, and habanero pepper. We'll give this a good mix, and then I'll set this to a boil. After bringing it to a boil, I'll reduce the heat to like medium to medium low, and then let this cook slowly. I'll cover it and then leave some air space because this is going to splatter. You want to be checking it from time to time and stirring it periodically. So you can also air fry your salmon if you want. I'm going to fry mine until they are nice and then browned. Okay, you can fry it dry or juicy, however you like it. This is how I want mine to be fried at the end of the day. You can also use any fish of choice, like I said earlier. So I'll set the fish aside, and I'll also be adding some sardine much later. I'm back to check on the stew, and then by now the moisture has gone down considerably. I'll give this a very good stir. Remember, I was stirring it before, okay? Just showing you that you need to stir your stew periodically. I also added some thyme. You can add any natural spice that you like. Now, give this a good stir and then cover it and then let it cook down some more. Before you add in the eggs, you should be sure that your stew has cooked down nicely to a point where you appreciate. Okay, if you like your stew a bit juicy, you can have it that way. If you like it a bit dry, you can cook it until it's nice and dry. But this is how I like mine. It's not too juicy and then it's not dry as well. Going forward, I'll add the sardine oil at this point. It gives it a nice taste. But if you're not going to use sardine oil, don't worry. The stew will still come out amazing. Then I'm going to season this with some stock cube and salt. You can also use any seasoning that you like. So I'll give this a very good stir and then leave it for about a minute so that it's nice and combined very well. Then I'll go ahead and add my room temperature eggs. I have 7 room temperature eggs which I'll be adding to this sauce. You can add as much eggs you want. So you will just make some holes in the stew, like you want to just create some dents in the stew and then add in the eggs one by one. You can also whisk the eggs if you want it as well. So after you add the eggs, you are going to cover this under medium heat for it to heat up and begin to cook the eggs. Okay, so after you cover it for a while, you would let the eggs cook and then you would uncover it and then turn over the eggs just to make sure that the other side will also cook as well. Then you will cover it again for it to continue cooking. But this time you may want to lower the heat a bit so that it does not burn on the other side. You are going to do this about 2 times or 3 to ensure that the eggs are nice and well cooked. Okay, after you give it the last stir, you can go ahead and add some onions. It also makes the stew taste really good. And then you will add in your fish finally. I'm adding in the sardine and then the salmon that I fried earlier. So give this a gentle mix and then let it be for about a minute or 2 so that it will sit together nicely. You can cover it. Let it be for about a minute or 2, and then once you are back, you can give it a good stir, taste for seasoning, adjust your taste, and then voila, we are done. Your stew is nice and ready. I didn't have to season at this point because the stew was already very well seasoned, and it came out totally great and tasting very good. I had this with some rice and it was a banger, always a banger. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this simple but very delicious egg stew recipe. I'll be glad to read all your nice comments. So at this point, if you've not liked the video already, please do like the video, subscribe, share with your friends, and remember that God loves you and has a great plan for your life. Bye.